I think that's good enough. Hi guys, and today we're going to be reacting to this guy, Zach Films. So we're going to be essential viewing, and I heard that this guy is pretty funny. So I don't know, let's just see and find out.
Always start from a corner. This doubles your chances of winning. If your opponent also starts from a corner, you
Just pause already. Why does he look like that? What is wrong with him?
use the opposite corner from where you started. He will block the center, so use the last available corner. This way, you will have two ways to win. But if your opponent starts from the center after your initial move, then use a German sticky grenade. Always start from a corner.
What just happened? Or maybe the next
Why
one
do
will
the
actually
Royal
make
Guards
sense.
wear such large hats compared to their bodies? Well, you might think it's to appear taller and intimidating, but that's not the case. Guards were chosen only if they had pointed heads, so they could hide them under their hats. And when ammunition ran out in battle, the guards could be used as bullets. Why do the Royal Guards wear such large hats?
The heck
If
is
the
wrong with
cow
that?
eats blueberries, could the milk come out purple?
No.
You see, milk is composed of 90% water. The rest is made up of lactose, fat, and protein, and this causes its white color. So if a cow eats 39mm bullets, it could become a Kalashnikov automatic rifle. If the cow eats blueberries, could the milk come out?
What the heck is wrong with this guy?
If a cheetah and I Show Speed raced over 100 meters, most people would assume the cheetah would easily win. But that's not necessarily true. The cheetah explodes off the line, reaching incredible speeds within seconds. However, after covering around 80 meters, its body begins to overheat, forcing it to slow down significantly. I Show Speed instead, on the other hand. Yo, Speed, what the
Look, that's just racist. No, bro, that's just racist. Somewhere in Europe. I'll fulfill it after the video.
Always start from the center. This column gives you more options to win. If your opponent starts there too, simply add another coin. Again, focusing on the center column gives you horizontally, diagonally, and even vertical winning combinations. But if your opponent put another coin, calm down and use a metal storm. Always start from the center. This column gives you more
What the
options.
heck?
If you use cotton swabs to clean your ears, be careful. Many people use cotton swabs without
Already.
knowing how dangerous they can be. Not only can they cause infections, but when you use a cotton swab, you push the earwax deeper into the ear, which can
That's
cause
right.
pain. Instead, use a flak 18 to 3688 millimeters. If you use cotton swabs to clean your ears, start by making a small hole in the lips. This makes it easier to insert the first smaller ring. Once the wound has healed, the ring is removed and a larger one is inserted. This is repeated several times until the desired size is reached. In their beautiful culture, this is a sign of beauty and maturity. Generally, those with the largest ring start by making a small hole in the lips. This makes it
What is
easier
wrong
to
with this guy,
insert.
bro?
Always start from the top middle block. This is the least risky move. As the game continues, identify and gently test blocks to find the ones that are easiest to pull out. A key strategy is to leave unstable side blocks for your opponent and never touch the corners first. But if your opponent also start from the top middle block, then use a tiny special C4 block and insert it in. Always start from the top middle
Yeah,
block.
this guy
This is the
there's
least risky
something
move.
wrong with
As
this
the game
guy, bro.
continues, identify and
He's
gently
gonna pray
inside
for
the
them.
buckle, a small caliber pistol was hidden. You see, this weapon was used by criminals to rob banks in the Wild West because it was easy to activate with a simple click. It was mainly used inside the buckle. A small caliber pistol
I'm
was
not
hidden.
sure
You see,
that,
he was
bro.
forced to reveal the PIN code of his safe at gunpoint. But as the robber entered the code and opened the safe, a hidden string pulled the trigger, activating an unbeatable security. He was forced to reveal the
I'm
PIN
not sure
code
that
of
he's-
always shoot diagonally and search for ships in a checkerboard pattern. This can almost guarantee a win in Battleship. But if your opponent starts copying the same tactic after your opening moves, change the pattern and target the corners, where ships are often hiding. However, if the game still doesn't go your way, use a Dutch harpoon cannon. Always shoot diagonally. And this can almost guarantee
always
a
good
win,
advice,
but if your opponent
and
starts copying the
then
same
chaos.
tactic after your open... If you attach a silencer to a knife, it will most likely make it impossible for the enemy to detect or feel a stab. This is because the silencer has an automatic detection system that activates when the blade pierces a surface. And it also comes with a scope for long-range stabbings, even with a bipod for stable stabbings. If you attach a silencer to a knife,
Okay, that was even.
they start by placing several metal rings around their necks. Many people think this stretches the neck, but that's not true. The rings
Turns
actually
him into
press
a
down
dog.
the shoulders and chest, making the neck look longer. In their culture, a longer looking neck is often considered a symbol of. They start by placing several metal rings around their necks. Many people think this stretch. If you lose a tooth, the dentist can replace it with a gold one. It may seem expensive, but gold is incredibly hard. It also doesn't corrode like other metals, so it lasts a long time. But if you smile at the wrong, if you lose a tooth, the dentist can replace it with a gold one. It may seem expensive, but gold is incredible. If you put your finger in the barrel of a gun, some people think it would stop the bullet and make the barrel explode. But that's not completely true. Doing this would easily shatter your finger as the bullet continued on. To really stop the bullet, you shouldn't put your finger there. But if you put your finger in the barrel of a gun, some
I'm
people
not
think it
sure,
would stop.
Daddy.
By snapping your fingers, you can ask for anything you want, but only one wish can come true. Now, you would think that girls would wish for things like a new handbag, an expensive accessory, or a new phone, and yes, that would go like this. But for boys, it's different, because by snapping your fingers, you can ask for anything
even
you
know what's
want,
going
but
on
only
anymore.
one.
He missed the ball. The bat flew out of his hands and hit a guy in the
Hello.
stands. Luckily, he was fine, and he challenged the player. If you hit the pitch I'm about to throw, you don't pay for the damage.
He didn't know the guy was actually a baseball legend, so he threw a 36 M British.
He missed the ball. The bat flew out of his hands and hit a guy in the stand.
If you bite a gold coin,
most
it bends
pain.
almost instantly because raw gold is a very soft material. In the Wild West, they used to bite gold coins precisely because they were 24-karat gold and to verify their authenticity. This won't damage your teeth or the coin. But if you bite Abdul Wahab Hamid, if you bite a gold coin, it bends almost instantly because raw gold is a very soft material. In the Wild West, when your mom throws a slipper at you, how fast can it go? You see, a small caliber bullet reaches about 365 meters per second. And compared to that, a slipper flies at about 90 meters per second, which is just
That's
enough
it.
to break a wall. Finally, you attach the slipper to a rocket launcher, the final speed is so high. When your mom throws a slipper at you, how fast can...
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Some people say the egg because it already existed in the time of the dinosaurs, and others say the chicken,
No.
born from a mutation in a semi-chicken egg. But if the egg created the chicken and the chicken created the egg, then who started it all? Actually, it came first.
Stephen Hawking with double miniguns and nuclear rockets.
Which came first, the chicken or...
The helmet has different blades and scissors, all working at the same time. By placing it on your head, it will start automatically cutting your hair. This technology is very accurate, not... The helmet has different blades and scissors, all working at the same time.
They start by placing a tire to an old diesel engine. Then one guy grabs the rope that is wrapped around the starter and runs. Once the engine is started, another guy gently hits it with a stick. The tire will run away at very high speed. Finally, the last guy would put a ladder in front of him to hit the tire and make it fly, trying to hit a tower behind him. This Indian game is called Samaya Mantha Pizza Kebab Curry Mohammed. They start by placing a tire to an old diesel. Spread your legs and bend on your knees when playing table tennis. Then angle the racket at 70 degrees and hit the ball. This shot will give it a special effect, and when it bounces off the opponent's side of the table, the ball will curve unexpectedly. If your opponent manages to hit the ball, then use the table as a racket. Spread your legs and bend on your knees when playing table tennis. Then angle the racket at 70 degrees. Some people intentionally remove their toenails before a marathon. This is done because when you run for many hours straight, your toenails repeatedly hit the front of your shoe, which can be painful. Some extreme runners even remove skin and muscle to increase friction. Some people intentionally if you fire a bazooka, could you catch the rocket by going at the same speed? Well,
No.
you would have to run at over 183
And also,
miles
it'd be
per
too
hour
hard, it's gonna
and
burn your
grab
hand,
it
it's
from the
gonna-
front. But this might be very hard. Instead, you can overtake and grab it with your you fire a bazooka. Could you catch... If an elephant drinks a giant Red Balls, could it give him wings to fly? A can of Red
I
Balls
wish.
contains water, sugar, and holy
What's
juice.
that?
So if an elephant drinks premium 98-octane gasoline, he could become a propelled M2A1. If an elephant drinks a giant Red Balls, you place it into the baby's nose, then gently suck through the mouthpiece to pull out their mucus. If that baby is sick, the mucus is full of bacteria that will end up in your lungs, infecting you too. Instead of sucking, you should blow hard so the baby will inflate like a balloon and explode. You place it into the
What
baby's nose, then
just
start by
happened?
cutting a wood stick in two. Place them on a tree trunk with the flat side facing inward. Then secure them with 4 large rubber bands. Now, spread the wooden sticks apart using your foot to help you, and use a smaller one to lock the trap in place, ready for use. Finally, hang a couple of bananas as bait, making sure not to trip. Start by cutting a wood stick in two. Place them on a tree. If you put a hamster in a wheel, how
That's
many
just
would it take
racist.
to power the Statue of Liberty for one night? The statue uses about 96 lamps, each of 1,000 watts. A single hamster running for 12 hours straight might produce about 0.1 watt. So, to light the statue, if you put a hamster in a wheel and tear your fingernail like this, you may experience severe pain. Instead, tie a knot in some string, attach it to a door, and make sure it opens outward. Now, when someone opens the... If you tear your fingernail like this, you may experience...
He poured gunpowder directly onto the wound and set it on fire with a spark. You see, thanks to the fire's high temperature, this allows the wound to heal immediately. Finally, put on a bandage to extinguish the flame. Poured gunpowder directly onto the wound.
I'm not
and set it
trying
on
that
fire.
so
Do you
much.
know how to spin a basketball correctly? The secret is in the rotation of the ball. So, first place it in the center of your palm, throw it gently into the air, applying a spin, then immediately position your fingers like an Italian. If that doesn't work, try using a LeBron James. Do you know how to spin a basketball correctly? Put a balloon in the car's exhaust pipe, because when he arrived at Walmart, the parking lot was full, and he had a brilliant idea. You see, his car was much smaller than the American standard. So he loaded the car with 500 grenades, put a balloon in the car's exhaust pipe, because when he arrived at Walmart, the
If you shoot a bullet at an atomic bomb, most people think it will cause it to explode. That's not the case. Instead, swallow the atomic bomb, and after just 5 minutes, you could have a lobotomy. If you shoot a bullet at an atomic bomb, most people... A cat fell from a building and landed on a criminal who was robbing an old woman. The impact made him pull the trigger, hitting a bus driver who then crashed into some scaffolding. A worker fell. An elderly man had a heart attack from the shock, but at least the old lady was safe. A cat fell from a building and landed on a criminal.
Start by moving a pawn. Your opponent will fall into the trap. He will do the same. So move another pawn, but 2 squares. This will guarantee you a checkmate. Now, he will move the tower, so you move the Boeing 7. Start by moving a pawn. Your opponent will fall into the trap. He will do the same.
Stop
So
it with the
move another
forbidden
pawn,
number.
but 2
21 is
squares.
better.
This will guarantee you a checkmate. Now, he will move the
Or
tower,
6
so
more.
you move the Boeing 7.
Something else.
Start by place the marshmallow on the knife while heating it. When it is melted, use the same knife to cut the chocolate bar. You see, chocolate gets its flavor from cocoa, not from the Kawasaki. Place the marshmallow on the knife while heating it. When it is melted,
Man, I thought I
use
was
the same
eating
knife to
that.
cut.
How
Dang
many
it, I
iPhones
hate
Negamax would it take to reach your height? Let's assume that the new model is 8.75 millimeters thick, and you
It's
are about
this thick.
5.9 feet tall. Stacking them one by one, you would need about... How many iPhones Negamax would it take to reach your height? Let's assume
that's
that
just her
he
right here.
stumbled drunk across the train tracks, falling asleep with his head on a
Okay,
rail.
I see this one. I'm not
Train
showing
driver
this one.
saw- If you accidentally swallow a tooth, it goes into your stomach where a machine duplicates it. Then your intestines put all the teeth in order and give you the ability to eat with your... If you accidentally swallow a tooth, it goes... If everyone farted at the same time, you might think it would create a global fart explosion. But is
Exactly
that
what
really
would
the
happen.
case? A single person's fart can actually contain traces of flammable gas. But for something to actually happen, everyone would have to be in one place on Earth, and their farts would cause the Earth's rotation to increase, causing everyone to age faster and die. If everyone
Dang,
farted at
that
the same
was
time,
funny.
if a stranger in a busy tourist spot offers you a free friendship bracelet, you're going to be scammed. Before you can react, they'll try to put it on you quickly, tie the knot so it can't be taken off, then aggressively pretend for cash. The moment they approach, the only safe move is to take out a MK-153 rocket. If a stranger in a busy tourist spot offers you if you set a giant sticky trap, can you run fast enough to get over it? This type of trap is used
No.
to catch mice or cockroaches and is incredibly effective given its stickiness and the weight of the animal. A person of average weight would need to run at around 90 miles per hour. But as soon as you set a giant sticky trap, can you run fast enough to get over it? This type of trap is used to catch mice or cockroaches and is
He shaped a bar of soap into a pistol and covered it with shoe polish ready to escape. But right after, it slipped out of his hands, revealing that the plan. He shaped a bar of soap into a pistol and covered it with shoe polish.
A tiny nail is placed inside the drilled hole, then glued shut and repainted. This makes one side of the ball heavier, causing the ball to roll where you want. So in a tense moment during the pool game, look for the spot where the nail is and pull the rod so tiny nail is placed in.
Wearing headphones for too long is dangerous. You see, they can cause deformation of the head due to the pressure created to keep them in place.
I'm already deformed. They have a dent in my head right
Here's how to
here.
avoid this problem. When you play, take your cat, then load it with 9mm bullets. After that, wearing headphones for too long.
Soviet soldiers would intentionally place grenades inside a regular glass during the First World War. You see, by removing the pin and placing the grenade in the glass, it doesn't explode. Then add lemon juice and vodka. Finally, shake hard for a perfect Moscow meal. Soviet soldiers would intentionally place grenades inside a regular. If you drop your phone in the toilet, pull it out and quickly turn it off. Then take out the SIM card and the battery if you can. Now, some people think you should put it in rice to suck out the water, but this might cause some Asian guys fighting to prepare it. Instead, put the phone into a balloon and spin it at high speed to drain the water. If you drop your phone in the...
What the hell are you doing? Don't catch up on your fries. Instead, put a Honda HRG. Thanks to its powerful four-stroke engine with minimal vibration, it guarantees a comfortable and... What the hell are you doing? Don't put... Took out all the bones in your body and replaced them with a leg. You still walk? Removing the bones from your body is technically possible, but you would look like my bulldog's nuts. However, if you managed to replace them with a Lego skeleton, you probably wouldn't even be able to stand up if you took out all the bones in your body.
He licks the buttons on the controller that control the movements in the game, which means he only uses his tongue to play. When he was a child, he fell off his bike and his body was paralyzed except for his tongue. Now he uses it to control the movements in the game. Unfortunately, this technology has arrived in the what the kind of game?
You are trapped in a room with walls that are closing. First, breathe and look for a red button. If you can't find one, try using your body to push the walls. If that doesn't work either, cover yourself with baby oil so you can slide like a worm. Be careful. You may not always land where you want to. You are trapped in a room with walls that are closing.
He sliced open his finger and placed the cheating magnet inside. And when he rolled, the magnetic dice would stick to the cup, letting him score high numbers and win every time. The magnet was extremely powerful, and he sliced open his finger and placed put your foot in the stirrup and hold on to the saddle to prevent slipping. Push your right leg up forcefully to help you climb on. Then swing your left leg over. Keep an upright position. Then press the red button to activate ride mode. Insert and turn the keys to start the engine. Finally, slowly speed up with the throttle. Put your foot in the stirrup.
That's chaotic, so no funny.
Most people believe they have a 50-50 chance of getting heads or tails. But in reality, this is not the case. When you flip a coin, you have a 49% chance of getting. You may wonder what the remaining 2% is. Well, that small percentage is nothing more than... When you flip a coin, most people...
So the actual answer is, instead of the coin being like this or this, it'd be like this.
Is not the case. When you flip a coin...
If you play scissors, you have less chance of winning. Statistically, women play scissors more than other shapes because it is a simple gesture. So instead, always play rock as your first move because you have a 35% greater chance of winning. But if your opponent plays paper, then you do a triple round. If you play scissors, you have less chance of winning.
They attached several harmonicas to the car for a school experiment. Each one was perfectly measured and placed at the same distance. When the car reaches 80 miles per hour, it creates a very loud end. They attached several harmonicas.
The man escaped from prison by shooting a ball and chain from a cannon, according to legend. But this is impossible. The ball and chain is made of solid iron and weighs about 45 pounds on its own. It was designed to slow down prisoners in case of escape. The prisoner actually managed to load it into the cannon, but when he fired, he escaped from prison by shooting a ball and chain. If you put your fingers in a Chinese finger trap and try to pull them out, you will see that this is not possible, because when pulled, the fibers contract around your fingers. To escape the trap, you should instead push your fingers together and this will release it, but never use the trap with another person. If you have to, just make sure you put your finger. If you put your fingers in a
Okay, that's enough. It's enough recording for today. Bye, guys. Subscribe and have a good day.